Good morning, class 8 students. So today we are in our 9th class and we were discussing the 11th chapter of your NCERT book, that is the force and pressure. And in our last class we have stopped over the liquid pressure, and today we are supposed to continue from the atmospheric pressure. What is atmosphere? Before knowing atmospheric pressure, we should have a clear idea of atmospheric pressure, of atmosphere. So what is atmosphere? The envelope of gases which is surrounding our earth. The envelope of gases which covers the earth's surface is known as atmosphere, and thus the pressure exerted by this envelope on the surface of the earth is known as atmospheric pressure. So if I draw it, suppose this is our earth. So if this is our earth, then around the earth the envelope of gas, around the earth the envelope of gas is known as atmosphere. Okay, and this gas, why the atmosphere is aroused, it is surrounded, the earth is surrounded by this atmosphere because of the gravitational pull of the earth. So the gases which are outside the earth, they are attracted towards the center of the earth by the earth's gravitational pull. So hence the gases, they exert perpendicular force on the surface of the earth, and we all know that when a force acts perpendicularly on a surface, then that gives rise to the pressure. So thus we get the atmospheric pressure. Now, before discussing about this pressure, just read the section in your book given in page number 140. So you please open page 140. Over there it is written, when you inflate a balloon, that means when we blow up the balloon, when we inflate the balloon, why do you have to close its mouth after passing air inside the balloon, after inflating the balloon? Why we need to close the mouth very quickly? Otherwise what happens? The air comes out. Why this thing happens? What happens when you open the mouth of an inflated balloon? Suppose you have a balloon which has holes. Would you be able to inflate it? If not, why? Can we say that air exerts pressure in all directions? Yes. Now this thing will come, that air exerts pressure, as because I already told you that air is also a type of fluid because it has the capacity of flowing. So as air can flow, so it is a kind of fluid and it has the capability of exerting pressure in all directions. Do you know why? Because the air molecules, they are not fixed. The intermolecular attraction, that is the attraction between two molecules of any gas, that is not very strong. That is a weak attraction. So the gas molecules are always in random motion. So when you enclose the gas in a container, when you enclose a gas in a container, the molecules of that gas are always in random motion. So they are always in random motion, and thus because of this random motion, they continuously collides with the wall of the container, and thus the force is exerted on the wall of the container, and hence the pressure is created in all directions. So air pressure is something which is equal to the fluid pressure, and it is always created in all direction. Okay. Now here do you recall what happens to air in the bicycle tube when it has a puncture? Do these observations suggest that air exerts pressure on the inner wall of an inflated balloon or a tube? So we find that gases do exert pressure on the walls of their container. Now, I have already told you what is atmosphere and thus what is atmospheric pressure. But you please follow the figure given in 11.17, that is atmospheric pressure is the weight of air in a column of unit area. So now we will talk about this thing. So what I told you, that the envelope, the gases in this envelope, they continuously exert pressure on the Earth's surface, and we are on this Earth's surface. We are all over on this Earth's surface. So why don't we feel this pressure? As because I'm saying that the atmosphere has a continuous pressure on the surface. Is this pressure negligible? No, this pressure is not negligible. Let us find out how much pressure we feel on our head. For this, let us read this section. We know that pressure is force per unit area. If we imagine a unit area and a very long cylinder standing on it filled with air, then the weight of the air in the cylinder is the atmospheric pressure. So as we all know that the extension of atmosphere is very high compared to our height. So when we are standing above our head in a unit cross section area, a huge long air column is present, and how much air is inside that column, the weight of that air continuously acts as the force on this unit area, and hence it creates the pressure, a continuous pressure on our head. And here it is given, one rough calculation of this is given. Just see the weight of, come to page 141, there you will find the weight of air in a column of height of the atmosphere. And so how much height they have taken? They have taken the height, the total height of the atmosphere. So we are considering the total extension of atmosphere from the surface of the earth to its last extent. And the area they have taken, is 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter. So the area, suppose area on our head of 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter, and above it we are having one air column of the height of the extension of atmosphere is as large as 1 kg. So that air column can contain air of the mass of 1 kg. Now please keep it in your mind, in my previous class I have already told you that weight is a kind of force, but weight is not equal to mass. Weight is what? Weight, when the mass is multiplied with the acceleration due to gravity, that is not in our course right now. So mass into acceleration due to gravity gives us the weight. But we generally get confused we say in different shops, we say the mass as weight in different shops, but that is not correct. So an air column of the area of 10 by 10 centimeters square and the height of extension of the and the height of equivalent to the extension of the atmosphere will roughly contain air of the order of 1000 kg. Now this will exert, the reason we are not, so this 1000 kg, so we are continuously bearing a mass of air on our head of 1000 kg. Then also we are not crushed under this pressure. Why? Why we are not crushed under this pressure? The reason behind is this. The reason we are not crushed under this weight is that the pressure inside our body is also equal to the atmospheric pressure and cancels the pressure from outside. So what I told you while discussing the force, suppose you are giving a force on this, suppose you are giving a force on this wall, okay, or you are pushing your friend from this side with F force, you are pushing a box from this side with F force, and another, your friend is also pushing the box with the same force in the opposite direction. Will the box move? No, the box will not move because the force they are acting in the opposite direction and their magnitude are same. So they will cancel each other and the resultant force will become 0. So when the resultant force will become 0, so the pressure, so if this force is acting on the area A1, suppose A, and on the same area this force is acting, so it will create a pressure P equals to F by A. This will also create a pressure equals to P equals to F by A. So both the pressures are equal, but they are acting in the opposite direction and hence they will cancel each other. So this is the same condition which happens with us. Though we are always carrying 1000 kg of air on our head, but we are not crushed due to this mass of air only because of the pressure, the inside pressure created by our body fluid. It can be blood, it can be air you are inhaling. So they all together creates an equal amount of pressure which cancels the external pressure created by the atmosphere, and thus we don't feel the atmospheric pressure on us. You can feel it. You have heard about this situation, or if you have gone to hill station, then you might have evident this situation that in high altitudes the nose bleeds. Why the nose bleeds at high altitude? Yes, that is because of this pressure disbalance. Over there, as you all know, as we go to high altitude, continuously the pressure of atmosphere decreases because of the decreasing air density. That means air at higher altitude is comparatively very small with respect to the sea level. So when we move to the high altitude, the pressure continuously decreases, and as because our body pressure, if our body pressure is not equal to that pressure, which is not possible because we are having a specific amount of blood inside us. So at very high altitude, what happens? The body pressure becomes more than the atmospheric pressure, and as because the veins present in our nose, they are very thin, so the blood ooze out or comes out by bursting those veins to equalize the pressure. So this is the situation that why nose bleeds when we move to high altitude. So what does this imply? This implies that we cannot have two regions with unequal pressure close to each other. So nowadays in every evening you are seeing the storms. Do you know why these storms happens? Yes, we have read it in our previous class. Just recall that thing, that whenever there is pressure difference, how the pressure difference takes place. Suppose one place becomes more hot and the air from that region has evaporated up and a partial vacuum has been created over there. Then what will happen? There will be pressure difference with respect to the surrounding area, and thus to equalize the pressure, the air rushes towards that area, and so we see the storm. So these are the things that we cannot have unequal pressure in the two regions. They will surely equalize the pressure by any means. So from this you can see one activity is given. See page number 141. Yes, 141, activity 11.11. Take a good quality rubber sucker. It looks like a small rubber cap. See the picture, the figure 11.18. Press it hard on a smooth surface, smooth plain surface. Does it stick to the surface? Now try to pull it off the surface. Can you do it? So if you have a good quality rubber sucker, or you have seen the window shield in the car, or even in some tables also, glass top tables, those are fixed with the help of this rubber sucker. Or you have seen the hanger, the small hanging hook, they are also fixed to the wall with the help of this rubber sucker. This rubber sucker looks like this. Suppose this is a wall and over there you have the rubber sucker. So when you press the rubber sucker, what happens? Suppose it has, I am showing you the hook one. So this is how the rubber sucker looks. So when you press the rubber sucker hard to the wall, the air present between the rubber sucker and the wall, they comes out. They come out and a partial vacuum is created. When you are creating a partial vacuum between the rubber sucker and the wall, how good partial vacuum you will be able to create? The rubber sucker will remain on the wall very strongly. So when you are creating the partial vacuum on this, actually why this is happening, why this is the rubber sucker remains stick to the wall without using any adhesive, that is the glue, because when the air in between the rubber sucker and the wall is coming out, the external atmospheric pressure, which was continuously in action, now they keep the rubber sucker fixed to the wall. They keep the rubber sucker fixed to the wall. That's why you need to apply a good amount of force to pull it out, because you are working against the atmospheric pressure. This is how you can also evident the presence of the atmospheric pressure. Now let me give you the answer of that thing, that while after inflating a balloon, why we need to quickly close the mouth of the balloon, because if you won't do that, in the small balloon a huge amount of air remains because of your because you have blown a greater amount of air inside it. So due to the random motion, it is creating a huge amount of pressure inside the balloon, and the pressure is quite large compared to the external atmospheric pressure. So if you will not close the mouth of the balloon, then what will happen? To equalize the pressure, the air from the balloon will come out. So that's why we need to close the mouth. And the same thing, so here the atmospheric pressure is helping us to fix the rubber circle on any surface without using the adhesive. Atmospheric pressure is also very useful in many different things. Suppose when we drink the liquid with the help of straw. Suppose we are drinking liquid with the help of straw. Then what happens? Suppose in this glass we are having liquid, and with the help of straw someone is drinking the liquid. Okay, so what happens when you suck? Try to suck the liquid, then the air present inside the straw, that at first that enters in your mouth. So when that enters in your mouth, a partial vacuum is created inside the straw. But before that, when you were not sucking the liquid, at that time also the atmospheric pressure was acting on the surface of the liquid. But as soon as you suck the air from the straw, a partial vacuum is created to equalize that. Due to that partial vacuum, the pressure becomes very low, and to equalize that pressure, the liquid quickly rush in the straw against the gravity, because the atmospheric pressure is continuously pushing the liquid. So atmospheric pressure also helps us to drink with the help of straw. So now here we have a last section. Did you know? Let me read it. It's very interesting. Did you know? Otto von Guericke, a German scientist of 17th century, invented a pump to extract air out of the vessel. Nowadays it is very common that we call it as evacuating pump. With the help of this pump, he demonstrated dramatically the force of the air pressure. Just see the picture. It's so dramatic explanation. It explains such a dramatic explanation. He joined two metallic hemispheres of 51 centimeter diameter each and pumped air out of them. So when after joining two metallic sphere of 51 centimeter diameter, so it is a quite large sphere, and then after joining it, he has used his evacuating pump to evacuate the air from the metallic sphere. Then he employed 8 horses on each hemisphere to pull them apart. Then, as you can see the picture, with the help of 8 horses on each side, he was trying to pull the two hemispheres apart from each other. So great is the force of air pressure that the hemisphere could not be pulled apart. That means when the horses were trying to pull the hemisphere apart, outside the hemisphere, the atmospheric pressure was continuously acting on it like this. So as because the atmospheric pressure has a great contribution, so the 8 horses, they couldn't pull them apart. So this was one great experiment done in 17th century by the German scientist. Now here we have completed chapter 11. Now here comes the question answer part. I know you will be able to do the fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks is your homework. If you are having any problem with any of the fill in the blanks, then you can ask me through our e-class website, and rest of the question I will help you with in our next class. Till then, please go through the chapter very sincerely, so that when I will be discussing the exercise, you will be able to connect to each and every theory. Thank you.